Hey, Cinnamon Rage here, and welcome to the first race of Season 17 in AOR. And from last season, I've actually moved up from F6 out of 8 to F3 out of 6, and that's actually the last of the top tier leagues, so kind of pretty chuffed to actually get into the top tier, but obviously it's a fair amount of that is down to the fact that I stopped using assists. Actually, I stopped last season, but this season's the first time I've applied to join a tier with no assists. So yeah, that's quite good. I've been joined by 3 others from the previous league who've all given up assists as well. So I have no idea of where I should be within qualifying within the race, so it's going to be quite interesting to see how it goes. What's going to make it a wee bit difficult is that it's a full wet qualifying. This is my second lap on my second run, so it's my second last lap on my second last run. The last lap I'm not going to show you, this is the middle one, which was my fastest. And I'd done practice with intermediate conditions, but I'd done 0 practice with full wet, so it's taken me a wee while to work out where my actual braking points were, just get a feel for the track. But yeah, it's been going okay. I went out to do 3 laps of fuel, figuring that by the time I got to my 3rd lap, tyres would be warmed up, etc. But I kind of messed up my last lap. I was a few tenths up, maybe 2, can't remember, a wee bit anyway, but I did blow it in the last series of corners. So this was still kind of decent. You can see I went from red to green just as I rounded this corner because I made such a meal of it the previous time when I locked up. But yeah, just really quite pleased with how it went. Struggling for the grip as you would expect in the rain, but it was enough to get me P4 at that point. But once everyone else had set their laps, I ended up in P5 and only 0.06 of a second behind the person in front, so I could have almost got P4. But P5 is not something to be sniffed at, especially considering the level of this league. So really quite pleased with that. The goal still was always to be super cautious coming into the start of the race, and you're going to see that I was a little overcautious, but I was absolutely determined not to get wing damage. If you get wing damage, it's just gonna kind of ruin your race. I was also a wee bit surprised to see that all the cars around me were on ultra softs, super soft, sorry, not ultra softs. But yeah, I've already lost a couple of places, but I'm okay with it. No wing damage, and in fact the person in front braked a wee bit more than I was expecting, so I ran wide, which cost me another place, and because I had such a bad angle into this corner, it cost me another place. So that's me down from 5 to 8. So 3 places down in the first sector alone, and honestly at this point I just kind of maintain a bit of a kind of gap between the cars in front and the cars behind. In fact, opening up a bit of a gap to the car behind. Riley boy gets a mistake, and yeah, I thought I had a chance to go past him there, but I don't quite make it. My run onto the first straight was never that good, so I always compromise my ability to get past. But you can see here, I think I got a really good run down here, but I don't know if it's quite enough to make it stick. Yeah, I didn't make it at this point, but yeah, at least I was kind of caught up, and then at this point, sort of 5 to 7 were pretty tight. You can see the guys sort of 1 to 4 ahead getting away, but yeah, the fact that I was even just kind of battling and beyond to an extent held up, it's a really nice thing. Last season I felt a lot of the time I was just racing on my own. So being in the midst of these battles was really nice. Hugger Worm goes wide there, and I get the place off from there. That chicane will cause quite a few people problems throughout the race, and I've seen it cause quite a few practice sessions as well. But yeah, a wee bit of a corner cut there. It was something that I was struggling with throughout the race. It's just one of those tracks. And I was just looking to see those around me, see if they had much in the penalties, but again, Riley goes a bit wide there, seems to be causing some problems. Try and get the nose up the inside, but I'm just not quite able to make it. But again, the fact that I'm even competitive just now is just so much fun, to be honest. It just makes such a nice change from how the league was last season. I do get lunged by Hugworm, and I did see it coming, so I didn't turn in at that point, and luckily I got the cut back on him and go back in front. So a wee bit of a scare there for a second. I am going to be a wee bit off here. It's lap 9. I've been on these lap tyres since the start, and I should probably have pitted at this point, but for some reason I chose not to, and I was just beginning to struggle on these tyres. As I say, I made a mistake not pitting, and you can see Hugworm on much better super soft tyres which have not gone off is just all over me. And yeah, I mean my lines were compromised just because I was just under so much pressure, so eventually I just stopped battling, don't fight it. There was no point, he was always going to get the move done. And yeah, down to P7, which is still honestly more than I could have ever expected. Like a wee bad exit there, and that allows Darth to go past. So I'm still in P7, but I think that's because Riley had network problems and he just kind of disappeared out of the race, so we just managed to ghost through him. And then coming out from my one and only pit stop, you can see I'm now in P9 with Kezimoto in front on super softs. Got to assume that he's on super softs from the start. I don't think many people did 2 stops, and now all the people that started in super softs have pitted. You can see my place is in, and Darth, who could pass me just at the start when I was pitting, just before I pitted, that's managed to stay in front. So not gained anything, not lost anything, but I maybe should have run a wee bit more rich mix or something just to try and get in front. I hadn't even thought, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, just kind of gonna try and keep up at this point anyway, and do my best, to be honest. Hoping maybe his tyres are cold and it'll take him a wee while to settle in, but yeah, I don't know how much other people are actually affected by that. But anyway, yeah, just trying to stay on the back of him. This corner just got a bit of a nightmare, but getting DRS, and that allowed me to kind of keep up for as much as possible. And I do actually go for a wee bit of a dive and I get it, and thankfully as well, which I really appreciate, is just not fighting a corner like that. So that's me back up to P6, now on lap 20 of 29, and I'm coming up behind Hugworm, and I can't honestly exactly remember why I've got this footage. I assume something happened. Oh, that was it. I actually can see I lose the back end and I have to slam on the brakes a bit just to catch it, but in doing so I have to cede the position to Darth. And I'll be perfectly honest, I'm astounded that actually Iron didn't get past, but again, appreciate the fact that they didn't lunge into that corner. That's me back down to P7. It was a wee bit of a sloppy race on my part, but first race of the season, and I'm still not unhappy. Hugworm goes wide there, and Darth goes to the side, but I actually get quite a good run for once. But you can actually see I left a wee bit early here, because I was like, there's no point getting in. Hugworm the lap before had actually bashed into the wall and did have wing damage, so I was being a wee bit cautious. He braked early there, which compromised me, and you can actually see Iron gets past me. It was just a bit frustrating. He got past not for any reason other than I think I get compromised out of that corner just by Hugworm having to brake earlier just because of his wing damage. But cutting on a wee bit, just going to fast forward through to the end of this sector, this lap, sorry, and Hugworm and Iron are getting quite close, and Iron just seems to get a wee snap of oversteer, and then I actually get a much better exit around that corner and get past both of them. So that for me is a wee bit of a highlight of the race. Now I realised that Iron Weasels was just because was of his doing rather than my skill, but hell, I'm going to take it. Double overtakes for me don't come around that often. And yeah, that's me now into 6th position, which was quite nice. I was kind of catching Darth, but I mean, in fact, I think it was kind of fluctuating by tenths, but I was holding on quite well. At this point, my bigger concern was Iron Weasel was 2.5-ish seconds behind me, and I had 3 seconds more penalties. So although I've dropped into low here, I'm going to run every bit of rich mix I've got left, all 0.16 laps of it. I'm going to run all my ERS, and I'm going to basically push as hard as possible to get the gap up. Now what you're going to see happen a wee bit later is I run RS Dash, the mobile phone app, on my wheel, and so it gives me a live feed of the gaps between the cars, and I got a good run through that sector, so I was up to about 2.7, and then coming through this fast sort of left-right hander, I actually got it up to about 2.9, so I was really having a good run. I was running high fuel mix. I got a really clean run here as well, and coming out of this corner I had a look and I spotted that my wheel said I'd gone over 3 seconds, but unfortunately I was looking at my RS Dash and I totally missed my braking point and I ran wide. And now that I'd just come off the grass, I kind of get on the rumble strips and I just spin it and I have to reverse off the wall. But luckily I think I had about 28-second gap, 26-second gap to the car behind, so it's alright. Certainly for a couple of cars a wee bit behind anyway, possibly the ones behind her, the worm, so I luckily had a wee bit of a chance to hold on to 7th at least. So 7th place, should have been 6th if I hadn't screwed up, and yeah, I'm absolutely chuffed with that. I didn't know where I was, but I felt competitive with some of the drivers around me, so I'm hoping that that is there or thereabouts where I can be this season. I suspect it will be kind of more around P7, P8, but as a start to the season, absolutely delighted with it. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and if you did, I will catch you in Bahrain in a week's time for race 2. Thanks.